Welcome to another episode of the Talking Shop Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh from Grand Slam Cards. We got Michael over here, the Brady Bunch, from Medium Rare Cards over on Instagram. And then we've got this lovely lady up here. It's Cobbs joining us, I think, for this episode. What's up, Jacob? We're ready to talk some shop and entertain you for a little bit, hopefully. Michael, give them the rundown.
Yes. I'm going to give you the rundown. I'm feeling a bit rundown. That post-Thanksgiving letdown, having to get back on the groove, but I'm going to see if I can make it through the episode. We've got the opening rip, and after that, Josh is going to tell us about a few items hitting the shop. Then we got some hobby news, cards from the vault. I know those didn't make it into our private chat, but I'm sure we're going to find a card from the vault somewhere, and then a crazy stat of the week. But first, Josh, did you happen to watch any college football this weekend?
Negative, Ghost Rider. I did watch some pro football, though.
So, for you guys that have not listened to the podcast long enough at least to know that I'm an Auburn guy. I went to Auburn back in the day. One of the worst losses I've ever had to watch on television. And so I'm going to throw this out to Josh and you, Jacob. When is it okay to just give up on a team? When is it okay to just stop being a fan and then... Excuse me. I don't know. I can just hear the comments now about me just being a fair weather guy, but I have never been so frustrated being a fan of Auburn football, and I just wanted to throw it out there because, I mean, Josh, I know you're a Brady guy, but you're a Patriots guy too, and they don't look very good either. Just throwing that out there, but
they look abysmal.
When is it okay to give up on a team? Just walk away and pick a new team. Is that ever going to be cool, or do you just through thick and thin?
That is an unusually deep, good question, because I'm a diehard, lifelong Cubs fan, but our Cubs roots go all the way back to our family roots in Chicago. Literally, my grandpa met Al Capone. One of Al Capone's lawyers was related to us. I think my great-great-great-great-grandfather was one of the 5 richest men in Chicago back when Chicago was being formed. Our family roots go deep to Chicago. My roots for the Patriots go back 15, 18 years, early Brady. And it was I'm going to follow this team because this guy gets a lot of hate from everybody. I want to see why everyone hates him. That's where my Brady passion started. So then as I became a Brady fan, people were like, oh, I didn't know you were a Patriots fan. I'd say, well, I'm a Brady fan, but I guess, yeah. Then I just found myself following the Patriots, and I was diehard Patriots. And Brady leaves, and even the game between the Bucks and the Patriots, Brady's first game against the Patriots, if you remember, New England kicked a field goal, and if it goes through, Mac Jones and the Patriots beat Brady. If it misses, Brady wins. And it doinks, I believe, just missed. Brady won, and for a split second, I was disappointed. So I said, man, I am a Patriot fan. I wanted Brady to lose that because my allegiance to the Patriots for so long. But you bring up a good point when it comes to my Patriots. If I were to walk away from the Patriots and choose a different team, A, why? B, would I deserve a lot of flack for it? And C, I don't think I will. I really do root for the Patriots. It's just hard to right now. So my answer would be it's rooted in why you became a fan of that place to begin, or that team to begin with. And I think that would, like, I'll never walk away from the Cubs. Our roots are too deep of just, and for 30 years growing up as a kid to when they finally won in 2016, I followed every season, 100 lost seasons. I was right there watching every game and following every game. And so when they won, I felt like I had earned this. But I would love to hear. Obviously, people rewatch this on YouTube. Leave comments. Any comments you leave, we do read those because they come across as notifications to me. So comment in the comments y'all's thoughts, because I think there is a time when you could pick a new team, right? And I think it could involve when you move. You're now ingrained in the city that you've moved to. I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, and then I want Jacob to chime in to see if this, because you're a wrestling guy, Jacob, and I don't know if you could like jump allegiances with across wrestling lines, but for me, it's just so frustrating to watch Auburn football, knowing the history of that program. And I guess when I'm just like that crotchety old man now. My time is so valuable to me. For me to give up 2.5 hours to see Auburn absolutely bleep the bed at the end of the game,
let loose.
I don't want to go through that again. What's that?
He said let loose. I said this is a family show, but what you should do is add a sound
I should
effect.
bleep it out. I should. And I will. But Jacob, chime in here real quick. Are you allowed to be a fan of a guy that is like a hero wrestler and then maybe they flip him into like the villain?
Before I get to that, my sister started going to USC when I was 2 years old. So I was brought up a Gamecock fan. And I believe you can give up on a team because I did about 9 years ago. And I didn't go pick another team. I was like, you know what? College football might not be for me.
Well, that's the first. Can you give up on a team? Yeah, of course you can. But is it wrong to go find another team?
Well, I kind of go more so for players now. I have players I like to see do good. I don't really have a team that I'm with.
Yeah.
That's how I am with the NBA. I don't have a team. I just like to follow certain players. But again, that's a lot of people. And we just want your team to be competitive and be, so you find yourself, well, if I had to pick another NFL team that I really was going to really pull for, you're not going to pick a team that's just a poorly ran organization that's constantly frustrating you, that has horrible play calling. So then you're going to pick some of the other good competitive teams and look a little bit like a new bandwagoner. Yeah. And so this is a question that will ruffle a lot of feathers, because if I know personally, if people knew that I left the Patriots and became a Eagles fan, they're just like, really? You follow Brady, you win the Super Bowls, and then he leaves and you're done. So,
right.
But not. I watched the Patriot-Giants game. I still pull. I still think there's hope. It's just sometimes the organization has to be burnt down and start over. And New England has built up some equity with their fans. They've been so good for so long. We're going to give them a few years to not be good. And then we got to start expecting competitiveness.
That's a great point. I mean, that equity is a big thing, right? And that works both ways because, the Cubs just, how many years? It was like a century, right? Before they won a championship. So it was like the classic underdog for a century, and then they win. And so you're going to take whatever win you get. I think just for me, watching Bama be so good every year and knowing that Auburn basically pulls from the same talent pool. They may not have the budget, but certainly they've got the tradition there, and they just seem so close. I mean, I would rather get, we started watching, I told Susan, Bama's going to hang 50 on us. and we were leading that game with less than a minute to go. And then if you watch the last 20 minutes of that telecast somewhere, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a team just sort of implode, and it just happened to be my team, and I'm done. I think I'm done. I don't want to shortchange Jacob on the whole wrestling thing. Jacob, are you allowed to leave, sort of let go of a wrestler that you've been following because he turns into a villain, or the other way around?
I actually talked about this last night on my wrestling channel, not the It's Goblin, on a different one. And I have said, because of the time that I grew up, what?
I know.
Michael read my mind.
Yeah. We have you under exclusive contract, Jacob. It's just, we're going to need to talk about this after the episode.
Why am I not on this episode? I watch every bit of wrestling there is. But we'll let David finish his thought. Go ahead.
I have always said for all time, my favorite 3 wrestlers were Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, and Edge. And in the last couple years, Jeff Hardy is DUI after DUI after DUI, and it's hard to follow somebody when they have it handed to them and they still can't stick with it. CM Punk is just bitter old man now with somebody on his front lawn, and Edge is still doing all right. So my top 3 is kind of gone, even though I've had that for like 15 years. But changing characters, I don't know if it's more so characters, but as a kid, I hated Randy Orton, which we were talking about in the pregame. But now I'm like, you know what? Randy Orton might be my all-time favorite because like I look at it with different eyes now that I'm a little older. I'm still young, but I look at it with completely different eyes. I'm like, you know what? He was a really good bad guy back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you gotta in wrestling. I think you're kind of supposed to, when they turn heel, you're supposed to turn on them. Their job is for you to not like them. So it's a little bit of apples to oranges from pro sports teams to wrestlers, because their job now is to get you to not like them. And
usually it just so happens that you like them more because, like, holy crap, they're doing really good as a heel.
Yeah, if you understand that part of it, yeah, or if you're just not watching for the entertainment side of it. But
yeah,
I have a question that goes a little bit along with that first question. Can you think of a game or 2 or 3, because a couple come to my mind, the most heartbreaking loss where a game just made you like almost ill? And I could imagine for Seahawks fans, it would be the Super Bowl against the Patriot with the Malcolm Butler interception. There's the ring. It's snatched away from the vile Patriots and the villain Tom Brady. Do y'all have a game like that the way it ended? Michael, you might have one as of the other day, but I can remember when Ray Allen hit that 3 for the Heat, and LeBron and them basically won because of that 3. That LeBron got a ring because of that. That was one game. Leave yours in the comments. I want to know other people's.
Yes.
That was a last minute dagger heartbreak finish that just made me ill.
This past weekend left me a little sick, like loss of appetite. But when I think back, it's nothing compared to the kick 6 that we pulled on Alabama. They kicked a 53-yard field goal attempt, and the guy, Chris Davis, was sitting in the end zone. Time ran out, and the field goal attempt was short, and he took it from the end zone all the way back to beat Bama at the end of the game. No, we did that against Bama. So when I talk about these things, I'm like, why would I leave Auburn? Because there's been so many moments, but maybe I'm just being
that is an all-time moment, because like I said, I stopped caring about college football, but I think I was in like Hickory Tavern in Rock Hill when that happened, and I was like, what is going on? Why is everybody going bananas right now?
Nuts.
And I remember like I was impressed, and I couldn't care less.
Well,
yeah, I just want to know on the side of that.
Yeah, let us know in the comments when it's okay to leave a team. When it's have you ever done it, and who'd you leave that team? Your fandom, who'd you leave that team for?
All right, hitting the shelves at Grand Slam. It's kind of a light week. Say that a lot, but there's a few things. Are you familiar with Topps Finest Star Wars?
I love Star Wars, and I love Topps Finest.
So that's probably going to be a pretty sweet product. That comes out Wednesday, and we'll have that in the shop. Also Wednesday is a fan favorite, Donruss, good old Donruss baseball. And we were looking at, we'll talk about this product for a moment. We were looking at the checklist in the pregame. This is your downtown product. Donruss and Donruss Optic both have downtowns. I prefer the regular Donruss downtown. It's the one without all the lasers and the optic-y background. It's just kind of the smooth silver.
Let me just jump in here real quick. You said Donruss baseball. You meant Donruss football, right? Donruss.
I meant Donruss football if I said
Donruss
baseball.
football. Yes. Okay, just want to make that clear for you guys who are listening. And just to reiterate, the chase for this, it's a case hit, correct? Case hit is going to be that downtown. I think in 10 years, in 15 years, and 20 years, that downtown insert is going to be one of the ones that collectors are going to look back. Young collectors that started collecting, when they're 10, 11, 12. I could still remember, was it last year this time? Maybe it was a couple years ago, maybe last year. You were giving away some Donruss blasters
Yes.
for door prizes. And a young fella, he's probably 10 years old, pulls up, which was a very big card back then. It was a Justin Fields downtown, and got a couple offers that night, north of $500. Hopefully that young man was able to capitalize on that before the market correction. But I really do think that is that's an insert that is going to resonate years from now. And that Donruss product, that calls back to the junk wax era for me. That rated rookie still means something. It's still a really, really cool card. So that's what's hitting the shelves. One other product you said that you may not have this week, but that you're certainly probably going to get your hands on, is that Leaf Exotic Multi-Sport Rookies product. Yeah. We'll say it. It's non-licensed, but Leaf does some beautiful product. Some of these autos that come out of Leaf are just bananas. So make it up to the shop this week. What's that?
Leaf Exotic, it's my favorite Leaf product, is this Exotic product, because of all the cool design and animal prints that they do. That's also this Wednesday as well. So if I don't get it Wednesday, we carry a lot of Leaf. I just got more Leaf Exotic football back in today. So we will probably have that product.
Let's jump on over to hobby news. Jacob, you've got some things, some topics to share with us, and we're just going to kick around these topics and see what we think. So repack versus breaker or breaking, which is a better experience. And I know, Jacob, you're not crazy about this video, but I do want to share it. So go ahead and play this video. I'm not sure if Josh has seen it. So just play this video, then we'll talk about it for a second.
Take that product and you open it and you give it to the end consumer based on the spots that they bought. A repack, on the other hand, is when a breaker goes out there to a card show, eBay. A breaker's buying cards on the secondary market in order to put it in a product that they make themselves. And this is why a repack is bad. It hurts the card shows because they're paying the strongest percentage. A lot of the repackers pay 80, 90, even 95%. And me, a person who just wants to go out there and buy some singles at 80, 85%, the dealers won't sell it to me because the repackers are paying a high number. So it hurts attendance at card shows in that way. It hurts the end consumer because when the repacks pay 95%, what do they need to charge now to make money themselves? They're putting it into a product at 140, 150% of the comp, which is absolutely insane. Who's paying for it? The end consumer. We take a look at these companies. A lot of them used to be breaking Panini Tops and Leaf products. A lot of them have transferred, pivoted, moved on. I've searched the web. I think overall, that's a big negative for the hobby.
Interesting. Right now, Josh, you used to carry a repack product in a shop. I don't know if you still have a few of those. I've always used to really enjoy some repack products, especially when my boys were just getting into the hobby. I think it's a good way to sort of introduce them. Your thoughts on repack versus breaking? What's a better experience for you as a card shop owner? And then I'll give my take about being a collector.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're comparing breaking that product versus repacking. It seems like it's a little bit of apples to oranges, but the downside to a repack product is, because if y'all remember, I made a repack product with the Kabooms. I made a Kaboom repack product. I think it was 20 boxes, one card per box. Every box had a Kaboom. And the way I did it was I averaged out the price of what I spent via the boxes. So I think there was, we did the boxes at like $300 a box, if I remember right, somewhere in that price range. And the top card was like $1,000 to $1,200. The bottom card was like $100. The majority of the cards were around $300, and you had a few $400 or $500 cards in there as well. So the upside is anybody that bought one of those was getting a nice resellable Kaboom card, and your odds of losing all your money were non-existent. You were going to get at least $100 back. And then the ceiling was really high with that one. This is 2021 product, and the chaser was Trevor Lawrence's Kaboom rookie. And so I say all that to say the downside to a repack product is you're never going to hit that card that just changes your year. You know, you're never going to hit that $50,000 card. They're not going to put that in a repack product. It's just a math game. And if you're buying a $500 repack product, your ceiling's probably going to be $1,000, and your floor is higher too. That's the upside to it. Where if you buy a sealed Panini hobby box at $500, you may open it and get $40 worth of cards, but you could open it and get $10,000 worth of cards. Right. So yeah, I don't agree with him that it's, sir, there's my drink was finally delivered. I don't agree with him that it's hurting. People know at a card show, this is either a repacker, and I'll sell a card to a repacker. Well, the repacker will buy it, but you're treating them as two different customers. The repacker also is probably spending, $2,000 or $3,000 with you. And I think that's good for a lot of the vendors that set up. I remember pre-COVID, these shows were smaller and they were less attended. And when you'd see a repacker come through, you were like, oh, please stop at my table. Please stop at my table. And they'd spend $3,000 at your table and move on to the rest. And you're like, hallelujah, it made my going to the card show and setting up worth it. Those are some thoughts there. It's more exciting to open a sealed Panini hobby product because of the ceiling being so much higher, but your floor is so much lower. A repack product, you're going to get here. I use this as an example when people buy the repack jersey boxes, because Leaf does a ton of repack products and they do them really well. You're going to buy a mystery autographed football jersey box. You don't know who it is. You're getting an autographed jersey for $150. Upside is you're not going to get some guy that you hold up and go, who is this guy?
Who's this? Yeah.
It's always a notable resellable player. And you've got a ceiling of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and stuff like that. You got a floor, but your floor on a $150 box is probably $50 or $60. So that's the benefit of a repack product. Your floor is higher. You're not going to walk away going, who is this? Because these people hand-picked these items to go in here. So I've rambled. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think between repack, and I do want to reel us back in, repack versus breaking, what that experience is like for me and which one is better. I buy into very few breaks. Like if Grand Slam has a break and I see that it needs it needs to be closed out and I get the notification, I'll close out a break just to sort of join in and be part of the community. Right. I think that's where breaking, I think, separates itself from the repack, is that in a breaking community, there is a community. Like when you run breaks, you see some of the same names over and over again. They get used to your cadence. They get used to your banter. That's part of the breaking experience. With a repack, like you said, it's probably for folks that are a little more risk averse, that want a higher floor. They don't care about just the unlimited ceiling, and they want to make sure they get some of their money back, or they just want a different experience. But for me, breaking has never been a big part of my hobby. Repack has never been a big part of my hobby. For me, I just like opening wax. I like opening product. I look at it now, just telling a buddy of mine, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast. I look at opening a box now like a round of golf. A round of golf is going to be X amount of dollars. I'll never get that time back, but I have the experience. I have, it's therapeutic, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, for me, I think breaking, the community piece of it, is always going to be more appealing to me than the repacks. Now, what it does for the hobby ecosystem, excuse me, and how it affects buying at shows. Look, if a repack guy comes up to me and says, I want these 10 cards at 85%, I'm going to be, let's go. Let's rock and roll, And I have not experienced the feeling of, I'm not going to do that because I know that a repacker's coming. I'm not going to give you that price because I know there's a guy walking around saying that he'll do 90%. I haven't experienced that, so I can't speak to it.
Why is it a bad thing if repackers are making it to where resellers can get more for their cards? That doesn't, and I know typically I'm a reseller, but I go buy a lot, specifically Brady stuff, at card shows, and I don't expect to pay 65 or 70%. I expect to pay 80 to 90%, just like a repacker would pay. So yeah, this guy's going to be upset because he wants to walk around and cherry pick everybody for 65% so he can go take it, put it in his case, and make money on it. So that type of customer is not as good for the hobby as the collector. So let's just call it what it is. And so I like your take on it. Yeah, what does it matter? There's two different customers, the repack customer and the hobby customer. The hobby guy wants that potential high ceiling, but understands I'm doing this to enjoy it. You use the round of golf. I use the going to a movie. You're going to go to a movie and with your significant other, get some popcorn, a drink, and some candy. You're $100 in, and you'll have nothing but the experience when you're done. And the same goes for open up a hobby box. I did buy, here's an example of a Hit Parade. I like their products. We have an account with Hit Parade. I can carry their product in my store if I want. At 2 nationals ago, me and a buddy bought some of Hit Parade's higher end boxes. And by higher end, I mean, I think I bought 2 Brady boxes that were like 300 a piece. So each box, you're guaranteed Tom Brady card. And they show you the potential of what is in this series of runs that they do, and it's an autographed card, and it's some pretty high-end stuff. I opened both of those. I think one was a $150 Brady card, and another was a $110 Brady card. So for me, I was like, well, I got to gamble a little bit and maybe hit that big one, but now I've got 2 kind of cool cards for the collection. I've lost money on them, but that's part of opening product. And so that's the upside to a a repack product. I knew I was getting a Brady. I knew it was going to be I wasn't going to be a $10 Brady. The floor was probably $100 to $150 Brady. And I had a shot at maybe a couple high-end ones. So that's a perfect example of a repack product. And again, I said Leaf does a lot of them. You'll see those Leaf Solo football, Leaf Solo baseball. Guys were opening those at $100 a box in the store. And they'd either get a $100 card, and it was kind of cool, or they'd get a $60 card. It's still kind of cool, a Wade Boggs autographed card, and you look it up and it's $65, but they were like, that's still a pretty cool card. And I had a shot at something. And then you get you get one guy that gets a $300 card, out of that case maybe. So those are just some examples of what a typical good repack product is like.
Jacob, in the pregame, you mentioned that you were never going to do a break again. Do you have a take on this before we move on to our next topic?
Well, like I said, I'm coming at it from a different point of view. You guys do sports breaks, and normally it is randomized teams. Well, in wrestling, there's pick your wrestler. I'll do those from time to time, but I'm only going to do it with somebody like I trust. You know what I mean? Also, they hook you up because they're getting it at a distributor price and all that stuff. But you know what I mean. That's the only time I'm going to do it. Repacks, they just don't do it for me. If I want a specific card out of the repack, I'll go buy the card itself.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, people joke around too. They'll say, Josh, will you join my break group or something like that? I'm like, absolutely. Just heads up, I really don't jump in very many breaks. And it's not for any other reason other than I'm just not lucky.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'd rather spend a little bit more and just buy the box myself, but I just don't have good luck. And so, and again, I do this as a job, so that probably jades me a little bit. But
probably. You see how the sausage is made, so it's not as fun.
Here you go.
Yeah, check out this video, Josh. I don't know if you saw this in the group chat. There we go. So for you guys who are listening to this and not watching it, I think this is coming out of a Bowman Chrome, maybe.
Yep.
And the front of the card is an Vlad Jr. Iconic. It's an insert out of Bowman Chrome, but on the back of the card is clearly a Prism football card. The back of it, I can't see who the
Art Phillips the third
or Mosaic. It looks Prism or Mosaic.
Is it Mosaic or maybe even Select, right? Or is that Mosaic? I guess it'd be Mosaic.
Prism. It's a little hard to see, but regardless, it's football and it's a completely different product. Yeah, that's
and a completely different company. So obviously these things are getting produced in the same manufacturing plant, and that was the back. You got to think that there's an entire sheet of this, right?
Yeah. So here's the other. Yeah, I just realized that one's Topps, one's Panini.
Yeah,
that's even weirder.
Yeah. So number one, pretty cool set to put together, right? Your football, baseball, Bowman Chrome, Prism set. That would be fantastic. But I
wonder if
it just made me think. It made me think, what's the most unexpected thing that you've seen coming out of a pack?
Man, I feel
in this vein.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we've seen, like, this is very rare too, maybe once in 6 years, a completely blank card.
Oh wow.
Man, I'd have to think on this for a little bit. Some of the regulars at the shop probably could tell you stranger things. Seen really miscut. I mean, obviously, like crazy miscuts. We've seen a little bit of that.
I've pulled cards that look like they got caught in the crimper for the pack, and it looks like it's like crimped at the very edge. I'm like, yeah, that. And fortunately, that's never been a really big card for me, but yeah, I've never seen that, and I've never pulled anything like that. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I've pulled it was a Juan Soto parallel out of Topps Fire, and it was numbered 26 out of 25.
Yeah,
that was pretty unique. But as far as pulling something this unexpected out of a pack,
that'd be a good one.
Oh my gosh!
YouTube comments again, if you're watching.
Yeah.
If you hit something crazy, put it in the comments. What about back when Ohtani was a rookie? I think it was. You could, or someone, it made its rounds on the internet. Someone opened up a pack, a hanger pack, or a blaster, or a hanger box, and it had two Ohtani rookie autos stuck together.
Yikes!
Yeah, like not only are you getting a whoopsie where two of them got stuck together, but you got Ohtani. I'm pretty sure it was, but if anyone knows what I'm talking about, correct me as well. But yeah, I'm like, usually it's when they stick together or there's two of one guy in a box, you're like, Why is it never two of the good player you're chasing? It's always two of the no-name guy. But
I
not in the case
just don't know. Number one, I don't know how something like this gets into a pack. Like, there's got to be some quality control. There's got to be the last man standing saying, "Yeah, that can't go out," or they think it's so funny that they're just going to let it end up in a pack somewhere. This is nuts.
And our Michael Jordan Soul of the Game card that's been a topic of this podcast a few times. I don't know if you heard the news. Beckett has agreed to label that card as a misprint or an error, as opposed to just dinging it on the grade. So they'll
That's fantastic.
authenticate it and list it as an error, which then should increase the grade and maybe make it the only Jordan Soul of the Game error card out there missing the color. We'll see.
Fantastic. That's great news. Great news. All right, Jacob, what's next?
Up next, we have the fact that the national tickets are now available.
Nice.
That is nice. Over in Cleveland. So, Jacob, I know that you're thinking about going. Josh, are you and the contingency thinking about going to Cleveland?
Not only thinking about it, we gonna be there.
Nice. So, let us know in the comments. Let us know if you guys are going to be there. I know that VIP tickets apparently sell out very quickly. So what are you laughing at, Josh? You were snickering over there.
I said we were going to Uber up there, I thought.
Yeah, we got to get our guy. We got to get our guy that Ubered us from Chicago back to Charlotte.
Absolutely.
Seeing if he'll make the trip from Charlotte to Cleveland and back. That would be...
No, from Chicago to Charlotte to Cleveland.
Nah, we'll find our way there.
It's like
we'll find our way there
all over again.
What's that?
We got to rent an RV.
Automobiles, the movie.
Oh yeah. Those aren't pillows. So, speaking of the national, I don't know how many days away we are. Number one, let us know if you're going. But Josh, because of sort of what the market looks like, because of the now that this will be, I think, your third national, are you planning this far out anything different for Cleveland?
I think we're going to be a little more officially set up. Last year we set up kind of through a friend that was set up. I think we'll actually have our own spot this time.
Whoa!
That's
breaking news.
Yeah, don't hold me to that yet. We got to sort some things out, but bring a few employees up there and man a booth. Breaking news, you dorks. Yeah, but I can't say that for sure. If not, we'll sell some stuff maybe through another person. But like I said, I just like to go as a collector and a fan and experience it, meet some people, talk to some people, hang out, buy some things. Yeah, but our tentative plan is to be set up in a semi-formal fashion this year.
That's awesome. All right, last thing, Jacob. I think we have one more.
Yes, we do.
And this caught my attention because
a little positivity.
Yes, we need some of this in the hobby, and we need to see more of this. So go ahead and play that video. I think you just gotta
look like Logan was telling DK his son's a big fan.
I know it might not mean nothing, but my son, big fan. He's 15, built just like you, bro. Keep doing your thing, man.
You can get this one. Get this one too.
Well, ain't that?
Give that autograph here. They say I'm built like DK. Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Right, Strike.
I was going to say that. We need more of this. We need more of this in the hobby. I know a lot of the negative stuff makes headlines. I know some of the infighting, some of the mistakes, some of the scams. Everybody's talking about this Josh Giddey thing. I didn't want to flash that on the screen. I wanted to talk about something positive. I want to see more of this. I think this makes me want to be a DK Metcalf fan. I've always been sort of a fan just because he's just a freak of nature and he's fun to watch. But I thought that was
you should
really
become
cool.
a Seattle Seahawks fan now officially. like we talked about at the beginning of the episode.
That.
He's already had enough luck with Russell Wilson.
How about them Russell Wilson Broncos, though?
I wasn't going to say anything. Wasn't going to say anything.
5 in a row?
They're 6-5. That's it's crazy. They're on the doorstep of a wild card.
Did we ever talk about when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles? It's a meme going all over the internet. You should look it up. It's hilarious. But it's what he said to Garrett Wilson. The 2 words that Aaron Rodgers said to Garrett Wilson when he first kind of got to talk to him about the injury. All he said was, "Sorry, kid." And there's memes going around like, "I'm not crying, you're crying," or who's cutting onions in here? Because the thing was like heartbreaking message, Aaron Rodgers, or you won't believe what Aaron Rodgers said to Garrett Wilson after his Achilles injury, and it was just, "Sorry, kid."
All right, guys, let's go. And this time it's just one card. It's the card from the shop or a card from the vault. Josh, show off a little bit here.
Yep, so this is just one card from the shop. A customer pulled this. The only reason we're showing it is, it's pretty sweet. Came out of National Treasures Collegiate Football. And we also have it up on eBay on consignment. The asking price is really high, but we've got our best offer for the customer, so relax. But this was pulled. I'm going to show you all on mine. There it is, numbered to 39. This is an Arch Manning silhouette signatures. So that was pulled in the shop by a customer. We've got it up on the eBay store. He's asking a whole lot of money or best offer, knowing that that price is high. So can always come down, can't always go up. So that's a simple little hit from the shop / card from the vault for that segment. We weren't very well prepared today for that.
All right.
It's a sweet card.
All right, let's do crazy stat of the week and get out of here. Not all of us have Mountain Dew to lean on.
I have to leave here and go straight to a basketball game that's an hour away the moment we click off here. So
all right. Crazy stat of the week, Josh. What is your crazy stat of the week? I actually have one. I don't know if you saw this, but Jacob, do you have that link that I sent you? Here's my crazy stat of the week. When I saw this, I mean, we talk about Tony Gwynn all the time, and it's just bananas. Him and Greg Maddux and Barry Bonds, but this one here, I don't know, man. Tony Gwynn has more assists in college basketball, 590, than strikeouts in his 20-year Major League Baseball career, 434. Guys, I don't know if this is real. Let's fact check this, but this here may be the craziest stat I've ever seen about Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. So if you're just listening, he has more basketball assists in college, 590, than he has strikeouts in his 20-year Major League career in baseball, which he struck out 434 times. So, yeah. And we might as well change this to the Tony Gwynn segment. The dude was insane. So Mackie sent me a stat. I think we've used this one before, but we did it probably so long ago that it's worth saying again. We've got a banner up there, so I'll read it from my phone. But if a ball player today stole 60 bases a year for 22 years, Ricky Henderson would still have more steals in his career. I mean, just to play 22 years is insane, but to have 60 a year the entire time and still not be ahead of Ricky, that's bananas.
Yes.
And then my final stat, this is kind of a little crazy fact. I didn't know this until I saw this online. Ken Griffey Jr.'s iconic Mariners rookie card, his upper deck rookie card, is an altered photo from when he was with the Class A San Bernardino Spirit. I did not know that, which is kind of like you look at the S on his hat, like it kind of does now that you look at it, it just looks a little weird.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. That's nuts.
Yeah, so they took his San Bernardino photo and just marinarized it. Marinarized it for his
marinated.
Marinated with Mariner Marinization. Marinara. Now I'm hungry. Oh. And that,
I haven't seen Michael break yet.
that's your talking shop podcast for the week.
Yes. Guys, if you've made it this far, and please, if you've made it this far, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, leave a review. Let us know how we're doing. Josh, thanks for spending some time with us. Jacob, thanks for producing. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
All right. Peace.